Some more news is coming out regarding Seth Rollins and his status, so we'll see what's new there. We'll also check out what's being said with Becky Lynch, CM Punk, and more. So following the main event at Crown Jewel, the word was going around that Seth Rollins was allegedly hurt during the match, and that it was serious. But like we said earlier in the week, there wasn't a single soul on the planet that was buying that news, obviously due to the big fake injury swerve that WWE pulled with Seth Rollins back in July. So due to how they fooled everyone there, no one is really paying any mind to all these new injury reports surrounding Seth Rollins. But the reports continue to say that this arm injury is reportedly legitimate and serious for Seth Rollins. The alleged exact moment of Seth's injury was the coast-to-coast move that he hit on Cody Rhodes at Crown Jewel. Reports claim that Seth may need surgery and will at least miss a few months of action minimum. And if this is true this time around, then that obviously means that the World Heavyweight Championship can't remain with Seth Rollins. Seth will have to be stripped of the title and head off into recovery from there. And if that's what's happening, that does make a little more sense for the entire Vision betrayal angle. If Seth just peacefully dropped the title and left the Bronze alone for several months, that could have left the Vision in a real stagnant position. But to have the Vision kick Seth out of the group and give them credit of taking out Seth Rollins and being the television reason why Seth went out of action and needed surgery, that obviously does a lot for Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker's current status and really lifts them up. They're not waiting for Seth to get back from his injury. They just kicked him out and will be going forward without him. So that explains the change there. Seth had to miss a few months and drop the title due to injury. So they just ultimately decided to have the Bronze be the reason that Seth gets written off. The next big overarching issue here is obviously the vacated World Heavyweight title. Had Seth never gotten hurt, he would have still been champion and the Vision would still be together. But now the title is about to be suddenly vacated. So what will they do and how will they handle it? Well, one thing is confirmed. CM Punk is the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight title. Punk won that match on Raw to earn the right to be the #1 contender for the championship. So if the title gets vacated and there's going to be a match to determine the new champion, it seems like a lock that CM Punk will be in that championship match right there. The only question remaining is, who in the world will be standing across from CM Punk in the vacated championship match? And there are a few solid options there for who it could be. Over the last few months, WWE has established Jey Uso and LA Knight as some of the top contenders for the World Heavyweight title. So if there's an opening for that vacated championship match, those two definitely got to be mentioned. They've been teetering in the world title picture for several months now, so you figure that they'll have something to say about that opening there in that match. The other option is obviously the men who took out Seth Rollins in the first place, and that's the Bronze. And WWE has kind of hinted at this with the Vision betrayal moment itself, right after taking out Seth Rollins. The closing image of Raw was Braun Breaker holding up the World Heavyweight title, a clear indication that Braun wants the world title, and his desire for that title probably even fueled his attack on Seth Rollins in the first place. So it seems possible that Braun Breaker versus CM Punk could be a potential matchup for the vacated world title. But if that's the case, it seems like Braun will have to do something to earn that title opportunity. It can't just be given to him out of thin air. It would be a very weird move for General Manager Adam Pearce to reward the man who took out the brand's world champion with a title match. Adam Pearce shouldn't reward that type of behavior. But if Braun Breaker wins a match to earn a title opportunity, then that resolves that issue there. There's no confirmed date on when and where this potential vacated world title match will take place at, but a lot of fans are looking at the upcoming Saturday night's main event on November 1st to be the potential time and place for this world title match. The official graphic and promotional art for the event features CM Punk at the forefront, so that could be a hint that CM Punk's world title opportunity could be taking place during that event on November 1st. The only thing that's up in the air right now is obviously CM Punk's opponent. Will it be Seth, one of the Bronze, Jey Uso, or LA Knight? That's pretty much the entire world title picture and main event scene on Raw right now. Those are established top guys for the Raw brand, so you got to imagine that it has to be one of those guys that will take on CM Punk in this world title match. So be on the lookout for the world title to be vacated and for CM Punk to be at least one of the confirmed competitors for that world title. Now let's get into another fan theory for the Vision's direction following the exile of Seth Rollins. We covered some pretty crazy ones so far that have been pretty out there, but still somewhat realistic. But this one right here is probably the most questionable fan theory of them all, and extremely unrealistic. But why not go over it and at least hear what's being said there? And this is the theory of Becky Lynch remaining in the Vision, becoming the leader, and ultimately being revealed as the individual who called a shot to take out her own husband, Seth Rollins. Ever since the betrayal moment happened, the first thing everyone was saying was that how it had to mean the end of Becky's time in the group as well. But a lot of people are discussing this twist of Becky remaining in the group and being responsible for what happened to Seth. So are there motives for Becky Lynch to do such a thing? Surprisingly enough, there are a few motives. First one being the loss at WrestlePalooza. Becky and Seth lost that match after Becky tapped out to AJ Lee. Seth Rollins was nowhere to be seen to break up and save Becky. And then in the weeks following that loss, Becky was seen in several backstage segments venting to Seth Rollins about various issues for many weeks in a row, but Seth Rollins was pretty much ignoring her. Seth was so locked in on facing Cody Rhodes at Crown Jewel that he turned Becky out during those backstage segments. Did not hear a single word she said, and did not say a single word in response to her during all those backstage segments in recent memory. So maybe you have a motive there between the loss to AJ and the several weeks of being ignored in conversation. But this theory is probably the weakest of the Vision-related fan theories we discussed this week. Becky Lynch leading the Vision would be extremely nuts and unexpected, but the Brawns are basically useless to her. The Brawns cannot help her with any of her current feuds. They can't put her hands on any of her current rivals, so will they really come to her aid and help her? And obviously, Seth and Becky are a married couple with a daughter at home. The story of Becky betraying him like that seems unrealistic. There just doesn't seem like any logic payoff there. Obviously, you're not building up to Becky Lynch versus Seth Rollins, so that's why this theory just falls apart in so many different areas. Sure, you can label it as a crazy twist, but just seems completely out of the realm of possibilities there. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.